Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for Mercy Health's Stepping Out program, our yoga flow this morning. My name is Michelle, and we're gonna go ahead and get started here this morning. Sitting in a comfortable position, let's just start by listening to the sound of our breath, trying to calm our mind, trying to clear our mind, bringing our awareness to this moment here and now. Bring our right hand to our belly and our left hand to our heart. And as you breathe, let's try not to feel any movement in that left hand at all. These are our two power sources in our body, where life comes with our heart and our lungs, where we get all of our fuel and energy. We'll press both palms together at our heart center. Let our chin sink to our chest. And we'll set our intention for our practice here today. We'll raise our head and let our fingertips come to the sides of our body. Today we're going to try to think about the yin and the yang, so opposites. We'll try to balance out our stretches, either on both sides or anything that reflects the other. So we'll start with that right hand and reach up and over. Side stretch, keeping the shoulders stacked and our sits bones anchored. Relax the hips, don't get our thighs tightened as we stretch. And we'll come up through center. And left hand will go to the other side. and back up through center. We'll inhale both hands up. Let them come down in front of us and slowly sink to the earth. Relaxing the back, letting the neck loose. Walking our hands back up to a seated position. We're going to bring our hands behind us and open our chest up to the sky. We'll come back up to a seated position. We'll switch which leg is in front. Hands to our side, left hand up and over. Inhale through center, and the right hand will go up and over to our side stretch. Inhale through center. Inhale, both hands up. And let our hands come in front. Exhale as we sink to the earth. Walk our hands back so we can come to a seated position. Let them come all the way back behind us, leaning into those hands. Open up the chest to the sky. Make sure you support that head. Don't let the neck just go completely loose. Unless that feels good. And walk your hands back up to the front. We'll straighten out first one leg and then the other, coming into our staff pose. Sitting up nice and tall, straight back, tilting that pelvis forward as much as you can. And we'll flex those feet for a moment. Relax the feet and gently fold forward. As we sit up, the hands will come behind us once again. We're going to plant the tops of our feet to the earth, and we're going to push our pelvis up. So actually, I guess you're going to want to be on your heels. Push your pelvis up, and we'll come into a reverse plank. Release our bottoms down. Sitting up tall, we'll draw the left leg in. Cross it over, hug in the right arm, and look over the left shoulder for a spinal twist. And release our twist, and the leg goes back out. Right leg will come in, cross over, hug it in with our left arm, and look over that right shoulder. And we'll make our way to our tabletop position, being on all fours. So swing those legs underneath us. Check to be sure that your knees are in line with your hips and that your wrist is in line with your shoulder. Keep those fingers spread out as much as you can to help take some of the pressure off of your wrist. And keep your shoulders active, nice and engaged. Our core always needs to be pulled in to support the spine and to help with our balance. And we'll start with our cat-cow breathing. So go ahead and begin if you already are familiar with this. But otherwise, as we inhale, going into cow, we drop the belly, open up the chest, and look forward. Make sure you don't sink into those shoulders when you do cow. You need to keep that engaged. And then as we exhale, we're coming into cat. You tuck that tailbone under, tuck the chin into the chest, and you arch that back up like you're a scared cat. And then you inhale back into cow. And you just slowly go back and forth between the two postures. And just try to feel what your body needs today. If you need an extra little movement on the top or when you're down in cow, go ahead and do that. Make sure that you just listen to your body and do what feels good, what your body needs. All right, after one more set, go ahead and meet me in a neutral spine. We're going to sink our hips back to our heels. Now keep your knees exactly where they are. You don't want to change their alignment. So we'll sink our hips back, stretch those hands forward, and our forehead comes down into our active child's pose. And then we're going to roll our back up and keep rolling all the way through until we're coming into I guess you could say a very high cobra. So listen to your body once again. If you want to just come forward, you could do that. You don't have to drop the pelvis all the way down if that's uncomfortable on your spine, or if you want to go ahead and bend your elbows down here if that's a more comfortable cobra position for you. We're going to go back and forth, our yin and yang, between our child's pose and our cobra. 5 times. Finish up one more. And we'll come back to that child's pose and breathe. As we come up this time, we're going to go ahead and tuck those toes and lift all the way up our hips to our downward facing dog. And go ahead and walk the legs out at first as we get our body in alignment here. So those fingers are still nice and spread apart. Our head, we're looking in between our feet. So those ears are in alignment with our arms. We're going to give that pelvis a tilt forward. And then start pressing those heels towards the earth. And the legs will start naturally straightening themselves. We'll walk our feet up to our hands and come into a forward fold. Gentle with the knees so we can rest our chest onto our thighs. Relax the upper body as if you're a rag doll. You can keep your hands on the earth to give you more stability, or you have other options here. You can tuck them palm face up under your feet for the gorilla pose. That's if you have really good balance this morning and you're not afraid of falling over. Or if you just want to hang out and make sure you're going as deep as possible, grasp opposite elbows and let gravity do the work for you. Wherever you are, we're going to bend our knees deeply and begin to roll up slowly to a mountain pose. Your head will be the last thing that makes its way up. And we'll do our scan as we come into this position, our Tadasana for the very first time. Imagine that energy flowing down our backs. So we have to make sure that tailbone is tucked under. Make sure all four corners have equal weight distribution. Our thighs are engaged, so they're pulling up as that energy flows up our fronts. Pull that core in. Our shoulders are pressed back and down. And then make sure that that neck is in alignment with the spine. We'll inhale both hands up. Right hand is going to grab the wrist of the left. We're going to gently pull over to the side, lengthening the left, and we'll come back up through center. And we'll switch hands so that left hand will grab our right wrist and gently go to the side. Exhale, forward fold. We'll step back to our downward facing dog. We're going to lower our hips to a plank position. And yes, your shoulders are forward of your hands a little bit. Make sure your bottom is in alignment. Nice straight line. Raise those hips back up, downward facing dog. Lower your hips to a plank. Lift, downward facing dog, that's 2. Lower. Down dog, 3. Lower. Down dog, 4. Lower to a plank. And down dog, 5. Good job. Let's go ahead and lower our knees to come to our tabletop. Extend that right leg out, lift it up. And we're going to lift that left hand out, thumbs up to the sky, toes down to the earth in a balancing table. Bring both down to the earth. And we're going to extend the opposite. So left leg out, right hand up, and to the earth. And so let's keep going. with our breath. So as we inhale, we extend. Exhale, bring to the earth. Inhale. Exhale. That's 2. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. That's 3. That's 4. And that's 5. Good job. Now we'll let our toes touch, our knees a little bit wider, and let those hips sink back. Pressing our hands forward before we melt into the mat. Active child's pose. You can bring those hands underneath your head if you need that support for either your back or your shoulders. All right, let's inhale up. Straighten our knees out. Press up to our downward facing dog. Shift our weight to our right foot. Let's lift that left foot up. Three-legged dog. So we keep our pelvis square to the mat. We don't want to open it up and try to get all fancy with a high split here. You're trying to picture a straight line from your wrist up to your heel. You're going to draw that knee into your chest, just so that you can swing your foot all the way through to your hands. We're going to come to a low lunge. While we're in low lunge, this front knee is really important. You want to keep it in line with your ankle. And we'll drop the back knee, untucking our toes. And we're going to lift up to a crescent. Hands come up once you have your balance. And you can look up to the sky if that feels good. We'll release our hands down. They're going to swing all the way through. And we'll come to that half split. In a half split, we're going to keep our knee and hip in alignment here. And we're going to straighten out that front leg as much as you can, pulling those toes up off the mat, letting the nose sink towards the knee. And you're supporting yourself here. If you want, you can walk those hands up towards the feet for a deeper stretch. And we're going to shift back and forth between these two postures. So shifting, we'll come forward to the crescent and back to our half split. That would be 2. Forward and back. 3. Forward, back. 4. Forward, back. 5. So as we come forward this time, we're going to walk the left hand on the inside of that right, and we find ourselves going into our dragon pose. So if this already feels good and you're on a great stretch, you can just stay right here. If you'd like to go further, we can go down to our forearms, always keeping those shoulders engaged. Don't sink in there. Keep that nice and active. And we can tuck that toe if you want and raise the back knee. Wherever it feels good for you, you stop at that stage. All right, let's go ahead and drop the knee. We're going to press back up first, and then come to a tabletop. Lift those hips back up, downward facing dog. Shift our weight to our left foot. The right foot raises. Three-legged dog. Pull that knee into your chest before you swing that foot all the way through for a low lunge. Check the knee. Drop our back knee, untuck those toes as we lift up into our crescent lunge. Releasing the hands, we'll shift our weight all the way through to our half split. Pull those toes up. Relax the nose towards the knee. Walk the hands up if you want. And we're going to go back and forth between the two, so shift our weight to the front, into the back. That's 2. That's 3. Four. And 5. Walk those hands forward. Let the right hand come on the inside of that right foot. And you go to the level of dragon that feels good for you. Try them all out. Remember, each side is a little bit different, so you might surprise yourself. And we'll release, and then lift back up. Bring the right leg back to meet the left. We're going to press up into our downward facing dog. And we're going to do a little vinyasa flow. If you just want to hang out in down dog, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to lower our hips down to that plank. Lower to your mat, whatever that looks like for you this morning. We're going to press up into that cobra. Exhale back down to the mat. Pressing through your plank. Lift those hips up. Downward facing dog. Bend both knees deeply and look to the top of your mat. And you're just going to make your way there. Maybe little baby steps. Maybe a giant step. A skip, a hop. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. You're gonna make that flat back, really trying to extend the neck. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. And we'll bring our hands to our heart center. Can I have a time check? 30 minutes? We're at 30? Okay. What happens when I forget my watch? Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to your downward facing dog. Shift your weight to your right foot so that left foot raises. Bring our knee into our chest. Swing the foot through. And then we're going to shift our back foot so that we can cartwheel our arms up to a warrior 2. In warrior 2, once again, we'll check our knee. Make sure it's at least, you don't want it to go past the ankle. You want your body to be in center. You don't want to be reaching forward. And try to get the arms as level as you can, looking out over our front hand. Now with the reverse warrior, that right hand will come down along the right thigh, and the left hand will reach up. And see if you can get into that back space at all. And we'll let that right hand, we're gonna go into an extended side angle. So the right forearm goes to the right thigh, the left arm comes up and over, and that's going to be 1. So we're gonna do 5 of those. Reverse, into extended, 2. 3. 1. Let's go ahead and bring our hands all the way down to the mat. Low lunge. This time we're gonna heel toe the left foot towards the right hand. Let the knee open up, and we're gonna lower down to our mat. The right leg is going to extend behind us, and we're going to find ourselves going into our pigeon pose. So you go ahead and make yourself comfortable however you want. And you can do any version of pigeon that you want here. As always, if you want to try to bend that right leg up, you can. That feels good. If you want, you can go ahead and lay forward. Either support yourselves with your forearm, or if you want to go into a full peaceful pigeon, you can reach those arms all the way out as if you were doing a child's pose. We'll walk our hands back. And we got to get all the way back up from here. Push that leg back. And we're going to push the hips back up to the sky. Downward facing dog. Shift our weight to our left foot. Right foot raises, 3-legged dog. Knee to chest. Swing the foot all the way through. Shift the back foot so that it's parallel to the short end of your mat. Cartwheeling the hands up. Warrior 2. Reverse warrior. Left hand down, right hand reaches up. We'll go down to our extended side angle. So right forearm onto the thigh, left arm reaches up and over. And that was 1. 4 more. 2. 3. And 4. And 5. Cartwheel those hands all the way down. Heel toe that right foot towards the left hand. Let the knee fall open. Extend that left leg back. Adjust your pigeon so that it's comfortable for you. And I always encourage whatever you tried on the other side, you try on this side just so that you're equal, even if you can't quite do it the same. So if you did try to raise that right leg, try on this side. And then go ahead and fold forward. We'll walk our hands back. Bring that right leg back. And we're going to press up into our downward facing dog and do one last vinyasa flow. So if you want to hang out in down dog, we'll be right back. Otherwise, let's go ahead and lower those hips. Plank. Exhale down to the mat. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale down to the mat. Press up through plank. Downward facing dog. Bend both knees deeply. Look to the top of your mat and make your way there. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. We'll bring our hands to our heart center. Good job. Now our balance today is going to seem easy. Don't watch me. As always, my balance is terrible. I blame my inner ears just because it makes me feel better. But just here, we're pressing our palms together at our heart center. You're going to just go up into a releve or go up onto your toes. And then start bending your knees. Stay on your releve. And we can go ahead and release down to our mat. Extend those legs out and roll down to your mat. Try to keep those feet anchored to the mat at all times. We're going to reach those hands out over our head, stretching our body out as long as we can. And then release our hands back down. Excellent job. Plant our left foot to the mat. Let's go ahead and get that right foot up in the air. Go ahead and make it the left one as well. You need to get those feet up in the air for at least 2 minutes every single day. With the legs glued together, the feet together, let's go ahead and make small circles onto imagine we have a sky, not a ceiling over us. And we'll go in the opposite direction. Excellent. We can go ahead and lower our feet. Now, start with our pelvic tilt, and we've been working on this. So literally tilt your pelvis so that the lower part is forward, and you shouldn't be able to press your hand under the low of your back. I always tease, I don't know why, I always curl my toes when I do this. Whatever you have to do, press that lower back into your mat. We're gonna raise first one leg. Now as you raise it, you're going to try to keep the knee in line with the hip. You don't want it to come forward because that's where it gets easy. And we want to challenge ourselves here. So this is where all of a sudden this pelvic tilt becomes the challenge. So we're going to raise that left leg to be equal with the right. And again, that's where you feel that. Cradle our head with our hands. And we're going to lift up to our shoulder blades. Imagine you have that piece of fruit under your chin. That left elbow will go to your right knee and extend that left leg out. Let it hover over the earth. And then come back up to the neutral position. Right to left and neutral. And yeah, we're gonna keep it slow. I know you know this is the bicycle. That's 2. Three. 4. 5. Ooh, no, we're not stopping yet. 6. 7. It's the only muscle group you can work out every single day. 8. 9. And 10. We did it. Good job. Pull those knees in. Give yourself a little rock back and forth. Whew. Beautiful job. So go ahead and lower the left leg, and you're just going to cross the right leg over, nice and comfortable. Arms will come out to our sides in a big T, and we're going to let our knees fall over with the legs crossed to the left side. Keep our shoulders anchored. So that might mean your knees don't reach the earth. Mine don't. Yours might, but they don't have to. We're doing a supine spinal twist, so that's what we're going for. And it depends on how tight your back is. You can look over that right shoulder if that does feel good. Inhale the legs up, plant the right leg, cross the left leg over, and let both legs fall together towards the right. And you can look over that left shoulder. Bring our head up first, then bring our legs, plant the left foot, walk both heels up close to our sits bones. Bring both hands down alongside our body. Start with that pelvic tilt and then lift the pelvis up off of the earth, coming into a supported bridge. And we're going to go ahead and lower one vertebrae at a time. Nice and gentle. So we're going to go into our Shavasana. If you need props right now so that it feels comfortable to get into this lying down position, this is the time to grab them. But we're going to straighten out first one leg and then the other. Go ahead and shift around if you want. During Shavasana, we first go through a body scan, during which we try to relax all of the major muscle groups in our body. This is the most important part of your yoga practice, so if you have time, go ahead and make sure you allow 2 to 3 minutes of absolute stillness. And let your body do what the yoga practice intends for it. With each breath, imagine yourself just melting into your mat, getting heavier and more connected to the earth. And we'll start with our toes. Relax the feet. Imagine you're walking into warm water, that as your skin touches the water, your body just becomes more and more relaxed. So that water is gently moving up your calves. And now the thighs. As the hips relax, feel your legs naturally roll open. core relaxes, you just continue to get heavier on your mat. Just relax those hands, letting the fingers go as they will. Imagine that water enveloping your arms. The weightlessness that comes with the release as you breathe into the shoulders. Release any tension left in the neck and the jaw. Relax the muscles in the face. Imagine all of that tension just leaving out of the crown of your head.